Aloha, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Infinite Cup Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Breton. How to let go. What does that even mean? Like, this word gets tossed around so much, right? Like, let go, let go. All you have to do is let go, right? What does that even mean? This is not easy. This is a technique that has been around for thousands of years. It all comes back down to your ability, right? To let the lower self out of the way so the higher self can come in and work its magic. Now, this process is what's called a mantra or affirmation, right? It's a meditation technique for you to get the ego back into balance so you can let that higher self in and truly create what you want in life. I'm going to break down exactly what this means as far as a technique and then give you the exact thing that I do so you can truly get those results for yourself. Now, I want to just break down these words, let go, right? What does that even mean? Is it like this light switch, right, that you just flip on and it's like all your problems dissolve into the abyss? Is it really that easy? I think people get caught in this word and they don't really get into the actual practice or technique of the words itself, right? Because it's just words until you put this into an action. Therefore, then you get the results, right? So how to let go. It all comes back down to the breath, right? That's number one. Getting in tune with your breath. Meditation is by far the number one thing that will allow you to, first of all, get into that witness mode, right? To perceive your life as the observer instead of being caught in all the misery and the emotions and the turbulence that comes from a human life. So that's step one. Start meditating, right? Start getting that space opened up in your life a little bit so you can allow yourself some room in between those spaces, right? So you're not just in that anxiety or in that depression all the time. This is huge. Once you feel comfortable with that, then we can get into this technique as far as letting go. Now, this is a mantra, right? My 3 words and what I do is called let go, surrender, and repeat. If you've been following me here for a while on YouTube or listening to the podcast for a time now, you've heard these words over and over again for a reason, right? The repetition is the key to really cement this into the subconscious mind so we can get those results that we're looking for. Now, how do you do that, right? Start breathing. Start really getting in tune with that conscious breath, which just means you thinking about the breath. You just doing that alone is going to bring more oxygen, right? Lowering your blood pressure, bringing more oxygen to every cell, allowing you to bring more relaxation into the body. This is essential, okay? Once you feel confident with that, then we can get into that letting go as far as you really coming back to that autonomic nervous system and coming to that place of rest, okay? Once you feel confident there and you have that ability to do that anytime, right? Then the next phase, which is honestly so important and overlooked, which is the surrender, right? You have to surrender to the power of the universe or Krishna or Yahshua, Jesus, Buddha, whatever, source, energy, whatever word you want to use for that, okay? This is the power that you are surrendering to, right? By letting go, you're acknowledging the fact that the lower self, the ego, cannot get the results that you're looking for. It's not going to happen that way. Right? So you have 2 options. You can practice the same thing over and over again and expect different results, right? Which is literally the definition of insanity. Or you can do the other thing, which is to let go of that grip, right? Let go of the reins a little bit. Let go of the steering wheel. Let the higher self come in and be the driver in your life, right? That's the other option. And that's what I would advise to you, because everything that we're doing right now in this material universe comes down to your ability to let the higher self guide you instead of the mind or the ego or the lower self. Okay, that's what this is all about. It's a very beautiful journey. Now, the last part about this, okay, the last part of the mantra is repeat. Okay, because letting go, step 1, that brings the observer and that brings the witness, right? You're catching yourself. You're like, man, why am I so frustrated right now? Why am I so caught up and attached to this thing right now that is creating all of these uncomfortable emotions and irritability and, struggles in the relationship and so on and so forth, right? We can avoid all of that, right? By practicing that witness mode, being the observer, okay? Once you can do that, then we can surrender to the power of the universe. When you physically do this as a word, as a mantra, as a technique, you're inviting that Buddha into your life, that Christ consciousness into your life. You're activating this kundalini energy and getting away from the woes and the miseries that come from this human existence, right? You need to feed yourself. You need to put clothes on your body. You need to take care of yourself. However, this material universe is not all that there is. There's so much more than that, right? We need to pierce that veil, go beyond the illusion, and really work with the energy in order to get those results that we want on the surface, okay? That's how you do this, okay? And the repeating part is really important because you need to keep repeating this until you get those desired results. If you are letting go and you're like, oh man, Robert, I've tried this, I let go and that doesn't work for me, right? Well, you're not doing it enough. You're not repeating this process enough until that part of you that we would call the ego is completely balanced out, where it's no longer the master in your life, right? The mind becomes the servant. That is when you have full control. That's when the heart gets activated. That's when you start manifesting effortlessly. So, how do you do this? Are you a good meditator? Are you somebody who is frustrated all the time? Are you irritable? Are you getting caught in these confrontations? Are you defending yourself? All of this comes down to whether the ego is winning the game or whether the higher self is winning the game. So that's where you need to start. If you feel like life, you're just paddling upstream all the time, then let go of the paddle, right? Seriously, just float downstream with the higher self. That's what you have right in front of you. Literally right in front of you. This potential is here. You can access this at any point in time. It's beautiful. That's why I love this, because you could go anywhere, travel, do anything, and you can always have these techniques with you. They're tools on the tool belt. That's how I describe this, through clients and all the coaching sessions that I do. It's like, how many tools on your tool belt do you have, and which one can you bust out in that direct time so you know what to do to create the balance into your life? You see, because that imbalance is where most people are at. The question is, they're not doing anything about it. Therefore, the frustration is just going to continue and it's going to pile up. And of course, it's going to snowball to the point where it just gets vomited on the closest loved one that you have, or the closest person that's willing to hear you, truly hear you, right? We can avoid all of that. That person doesn't need to be your therapist. We all need to have true relationships, right? When you're no longer vomiting all of the problems and woes onto other people, you are claiming your abundance. You're claiming your power. You're telling the universe, I am ready for the next level. That's the potential here. You can truly do this when you understand that this is a technique that needs to be used. And whatever it is in your life, right? It doesn't matter. Business stuff, relationship stuff. This technique does it all. If I were to boil down all the meditation techniques I've done, all the mantras, all the affirmations, it all comes back down to the letting go. That's it. That's why you hear this word so often being brought up in spiritual communities or in, spiritual books for many, many years, right? The question is, are you doing it, right? They're just words until you actually do it. That's when you can now get the experience and get the results. Instead of just saying the words, you need to experience the energy behind it. That is the potential here when you really use this as a technique. And I'm not here to sugarcoat this for you. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. You are going to have some challenges, right? Any new thing into your life is going to present its challenges. And you're not going to master it until you fully practice, right? And do this for a very long time. Therefore, you are now experiencing the results. You can't just do this thing. Oh, Robert, I did it. Let go, surrender, repeat. I'm done. I'm good. I'm enlightened. Are we good? Are we light in love now, bro? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work that way. You need to go deeper. All of this comes down to your ability to let go of the grip, let go of the reins a little bit, right? Let the higher self in, invite that magic into your life and see where it takes you. I guarantee you're going to have some different results, some profound results when you bring this technique into your life. Shout out to the Inner Circle members. Shout out to everybody on the Patreon page. I seriously would not be here without you guys. Your support continues to keep this channel alive. This podcast is thriving because of you. If you want to join the Inner Circle members and chat with us on the private encrypted server through the Signal app, we are communicating 24/7. I would love to have you. If you feel like you want to take your journey to the next level, the link is in the description right here on the podcast, in the show notes, and on the video through YouTube. Thank you guys again. I love you. Infinite love and infinite peace.